I had this breast milk bag just full of like alcohol wipes and flushes and syringes, and then these like 8 pressurized
Not at
balls.
all weird. No.
Not weird at all. So
one thing I did want to ask you about, everybody knows the story of the home invasion, which is in my mind one of the craziest, wildest stories I've ever heard in my life. And if you've never watched like the long version of Anthony explaining it, I encourage you to go do that. What has happened? I want to know like the follow-up. What happened after that?
I wish there was a long follow-up, but there's not. I don't want to trash on anybody who's watching this or has family members or whatever that has or do deal with mental health stuff, but
Yeah.
There's a lot of situations where I think that people abuse the mental health side of things. So Nebraska has this kind of initiative where there's like a mental health probation system where people that qualify for it have the opportunity to kind of rehabilitate, I guess.
Okay.
So that's the direction he's going. So he's on this pretty strict 2-year probation, which he's got to be getting close to the end of it now. But we're essentially like he'll just walk. Yeah, he'll walk.
Remind me, so was he also on drugs? Did they ever determine that? Or did they not let you know that? Or?
Yeah, he was a lot. I don't know how much I've talked about it, but they found his car like a week later, a couple blocks from my house, and like a construction site that they were building school or something. And inside the car was all of his psych meds, completely empty, with a suicide note to his girlfriend, who he had assaulted like 3 weeks before. He assaulted her and her roommate and then tried to hang himself from a ceiling fan.
Wow.
So he was having some like domestic problems there. So there was a suicide note written on like a piece of cardboard. So they think that he was gonna kill himself in that parking lot, like this abandoned, not abandoned, but like pretty remote construction parking lot. And instead of killing him, it just made him fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
It just turbocharged him,
and
I guess.
Superhuman.
For sure.
Did he, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the story. Did he go to somebody else's house before yours?
He was in someone else's house before he was in mine. Yeah.
And left.
The guy woke up with him creeping up on him in his bedroom. And this neighbor, I hope the neighbor watches this because I hate that guy. The neighbor was so drunk that he just sat up and was like, "Get the fuck out of here," and chased him out of his house. And he'd come in the back sliding glass door and he went out that door. So the neighbor slammed the door shut and locked it. And that kid had ran around the house to try to get back in the front door. And the neighbor got to the front door and locked it just before he got there.
Just in time.
And that's the video everyone sees. Like
okay,
that,
so the ring camera of him
that's the neighbor's house. He had just tried to get in again, and the neighbor locked the door. And the neighbor was so drunk, he never called the cops. He went back to bed and went to sleep. I shit you not, that's a true story.
Did he have a reason to go into that guy's house, or was that random as well?
Random.
Totally random.
Yeah.
And they just randomly stumbled into yours.
Well, we have him on like all the security cameras.
Yeah.
You can follow him through the neighborhood. So that's probably a block and a half from my house. And then as he's working his way down the street, he's trying to get into cars, and he gets into a couple and he's rummaging through shit, like looking for shit to steal. And then he tries to get into, for whatever reason, one of my cars was parked on the street. And he tries to get into it, it's locked. He lays down in the middle of the road for a while. Then he lays in the grass across the street. He tries to get in the car again. He like punches on the window, can't break it.
Yeah.
And then goes to like sprint down the street. And my old house was on like a roundabout. And you can see him stop. Not on my cameras, actually, one of my other neighbors has the best security system I've ever seen, ever. Because it's like a full block away, and it is crystal clear right on the front of my house. And he runs, stops, like looks and sees that my garage door's open. And then you see him kind of turn and pause. And then he just runs up to my garage. You can see motion sensors in the garage click on, and you just waltz right in.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we know the story of like what happened.
Mhm.
After that, well, I mean, first of all, like incredibly, I mean, unfortunate for you, but also fortunate that you are who you are
Mhm.
and you have the capabilities that you do. What was like I don't know, what was the aftermath like for you? Because I know for your family, for your wife, and for your kids, it's not like when he left, it ended. And I
Yeah, it
don't
doesn't go
have
away
for
when he
you.
leaves.
I mean, and I guess my question is like, I know that they still dealt with a lot of fear and anxiety, but did you have that same thing, or were you more, I guess,
Yeah,
over it?
I think I thought that I was over it pretty quick because I don't have any fear or anxiety or like worries that he's coming back or someone else is coming in. I think for my wife for sure, she worries about that. McKayla definitely, is still a little bit scarred from it. My kids definitely are. They're always worried about the doors being locked, and they'll wake up in the middle of the night and want me to check the house or whatever. So I don't know what it is, but it definitely messed with me more than I thought it did initially, probably for the first 6 months. I don't think about it too much unless I see something on TV that reminds me of it,
Or if I bring it up.
well, not even that. Like even talking about it doesn't bother me. I think I just, again back to this mental health thing. Like I talk a lot about the cup that I kind of live with to my own mental health struggles, but I don't ever deal with anything. I just throw it in this cup, and eventually the cup will overflow, and then the fucking wheels fall off. And that's like the Glover fight and the Rakic fight, and like any problem I have in my life has always showed its face in my fight career. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can pretty like how I perform is pretty much how you can tell my life is going.
That's a fascinating insight right there. But I think anybody who's fought immediately is like, oh yeah, that's true of me too.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think, I mean, the obvious answer is, anything you're dealing with outside of fighting is going to affect your camp, it's going to blah, 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 blah. But like on a psychological level, what do you think it is about the fight itself and the ability to, I don't know if it's the ability to go to that part of you. That's what it was for me. It may be different for you. Like, why is it that those things accumulate and then show themselves in a fight, you think?
I don't know. I think Ray Longo says it the best. Like you can't hide who you are in a fight, like in the octagon or wherever you're fighting. I think it's also true that you can't hide how you are. Like I'm at my best when I'm happy. When I'm happy and my brain isn't all jumbled and I'm not stressed out and I'm just focused on just fighting. It's when I'm at my best. Like the happier I am, the more dangerous I am in the octagon, which makes absolutely no fucking sense. You would think that your life's all fucked up and your brain's all mush and you're angry at the world that you would fight better.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the misconception, but I think you just, like Ray says, you can't hide who you are, and I've added on to that, and I've always said I don't think you can hide how you are. I think that if your personal life is a mess, specifically young guys too. Like I tell people in the gym a lot. That's probably my biggest advice. Like you can't have baby mama drama.
I was just gonna say, you can tell whose girlfriend is mad at him when
like you can't do the girlfriend bullshit.
Yeah.
Like you just like you can't do all the stupid shit. Like guys that are like early on in the career and they want to try to just fight full time, but they're constantly stressed about money and they're like they have to win, and it's not the way to do it. Like get a job, work full time, pay your bills so that you're not stressed going into these fights and like everything is like you have to win to eat, or like you got to have your personal life together. And anyone I've ever known, John Jones is the anomaly. He's the only fighter, especially at high level, that can have his personal life kind of a mess and still be successful. So he makes a liar out of me all the time. I think he needs it. Again, I don't want to speak to John and what is going on in his head or his life or whatever, but I know people that, and I would never say names, but like coming up in the game, I've known people who were just fucking disasters.
Mhm.
Like lives are messes. Like they can't hold it together day to day. But when they get in there,
Yeah.
they're absolute savages. They're just incredible athletes. And like you can't get these fucking guys to show up to practice half the time, but then they get in there and they're just different people. And then they get their lives together, and then they kind of fix it, and they, I don't know, they grind off all those sharp edges, and they're clean and they're sober and they're at practice every day and they're seeing their kids again, and like everything's going great, and then they fight
for shit,
and they can't fight worth the shit.
Yeah.
Like they need that craziness in them. Like they can't have their lives together. This is a small group of people, but like they can't have their lives together and fight like their own selves.
Yeah.
Like I met a few of those people, and there's a part of me that thinks John is that guy. Like, fortunately for him, he's such an incredible athlete. But I think the times he has had his life together, like the OSP fight, I think he was pretty, I don't know, on the straight and narrow.
Mm-hmm.
Not his most fantastic performance, but still be one of the best guys in the world, especially at the time. I think for the most part, for me and Reyes and Thiago, he's kind of had his shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's kind of a mess. You know, he's having some problems. He's having some issues. I think it makes John more dangerous. I think it makes him better. I think it
dominate
makes him better.
the heavyweight division.
Yeah, I think it makes him better. I really do.
That's a wild thing to think about. But you're right. I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I know people like that too. That I think people even
the problem
outside
is we
of
can never
fighting,
say who they are.
Yeah.
So people think we're full of shit. But it's because we don't want to shit on our friends.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be like, yeah, this dude's a fucking mess.
Yeah. But fights.
That dude can fight. That dude can fight.
We'll just let people guess.
Yeah.
How's the knee? That's the question. How's the knee doing?
It's getting good.
Yeah.
It's getting there. I wouldn't say it is good, but it's getting there for sure. I could fight if I had to.
Mm-hmm.
Structurally,
I feel like you would say that even if you didn't, like, literally didn't have a knee. You'd be like, oh, I could fight if I had to. It's all good.
Oh, probably. I probably would say that.
So, like, realistically, how does the knee?
Structurally, it's fine.
Okay.
It's healed. There's no pain. I got my range of motion back. It's just with the staff and all the several times I had to go in there and clean it out.
How many times did you have to go back in?
Twice.
Ugh.
Twice after the initial surgery. So, and then numerous injections and drainings.
You had a PICC line for how long?
6 weeks.
Ugh.
Yeah, I was.
And not many people know that you were on ESPN with a
I know, that's crazy.
PICC line in your
Chris, the makeup artist that works her magic and
She's
makes me not
amazing.
look awful, was trying to figure out a way to like wrap the IV line like around my arm, and we were taping it to my wrist, just like she would wrap it around so I could still bend my arm, and then tape it to my wrist, and then put my shirt sleeve around it, and then tape my shirt sleeve down, because every once in a while I'd like straighten my arms, and then the bottom of the IV line would come out. Yeah, it's crazy.
Did you have to like plug in your antibiotics?
Yeah.
While you were on air?
Once, yeah, because I'd missed the first dose, so like it pushed my time back. So I hit the second one, and I was literally flushing the line and hooking up IV lines sitting at the desk.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So when I was talking, I was just like, oh yeah, and then this
just with one hand.
Yeah, I just had it hidden because I had the like. Now they make the.
Is it like a
meds.
bolus or what?
Yeah, it's like a ball, like a pressurized ball.
Yeah.
So that one of them was a syringe that I'd flush it, and I had this huge syringe, like, I mean, it was like this big and this big around, and I had to push it over.
Can you imagine they cut to you on television?
Yeah, I'm just,
like,
I look like a crackhead too, going through the airport. It was, and I'm traveling with all of it has to be refrigerated. Yeah. So the only thing that it fit in that would keep it cold, at least while I was traveling, was Michaela's
like
breast milk bag. Yeah. So like, I had this breast milk bag just full of like alcohol wipes and flushes and syringes, and then these like 8 pressurized balls.
Not at all weird. No.
Not weird at all.
No.
So I'd like send it through, and I'd always just look at the face of the TSA guy, and he'd just look at me, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm doing my best here.
It's my thing.
But yeah, and I would shove that ball in the pocket of my pants so I could still walk around, because if not, it's just like this huge this huge line, and so
Yeah.
I just stuffed it in my pocket and I just walked around with it. So as long as I didn't move my arm around too much, I could, when it was taped, like when I was on air, I could just hook it up and then run the line back through my shirt and then down my suit jacket and into my pocket. So like no one really knew any different.
That's amazing.
So as long as I didn't move my arm around too much, then the clear line wouldn't flop out.
Really, really good.
No, it's stupid.
No, it's dedication. It's dedication to
Yeah,
your craft.
I don't ever let anything hold me back.
No, you don't.
I just figure it out.
You do not.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, so the knee's doing good.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it strong. No, there's a lot of atrophy and strength issues, but just trying to get the strength back and get the movement back.
So when are we gonna see you again?
I don't know. The Rakic thing happened. I made it clear on social media that like I could fight at the end of March. I could. It's a little bit quicker than I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I could have made it work. So that was about the earliest I could do, though. That's like the absolute cutoff.
Yeah.
That's
a
as
little
early
bit
as I
pushing
could.
it.
Yeah, it's a little bit pushing it. So, April or May, I'm definitely ready to go then. And I don't fight in the summer, so it's not April or May. It's gonna have to be after
Why
the
don't
summer.
you fight in the summer?
I never fight in the summer.
Why?
Because the summers are my time. I barely work the desk in the summer.
I guess now that I think about it, I know that.
I don't do
but
shit in the summer.
You're just like
my kids are out of school.
Yeah.
I got my kids, my 2 small dogs,
and your ATVs,
and we just peace out. We're just gone. Like there's times when we'll be on the road, and we're like supposed to head back the next day. I'll be like, nah, fuck it. Let's just go somewhere else.
Awesome.
So we'll just head from that spot to another spot, and the Sirius XM really hates it. So a lot of times they'll be like, "Hey guys, like I'm not going to be making
I'm sure
it."
the ESPN people hate it too.
Yeah,
they're your favorite over there.
Yeah, Zach is like, "Hey, July." Like, no,
nope.
No, I got shit to do.
I'm camping.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm camping.
You're creating a little group of superhumans, by the way. I mean, your daughters. First off, how tall is Michaela?
6 foot. 6 foot.
Okay, so
she used to be 6'1".
She shrunk.
She broke her back and she shrunk. Yeah, she broke her back on a 4-wheeler when she was in college.
Okay, so genetically she's 6'1".
Genetically she's 6'1".
You're 6'4".
Yeah.
And your children are your daughters, I should say, they're all girls. Mm-hmm. They're gorgeous, and they are some freaking Amazons.
They're big. My 10-year-old's 5'7". Yeah, she's a monster.
What does she weigh?
I don't know actually.
She's not a twig. I mean, she's not bigger.
No, she's not big. She's proportional for her height. I would guess she's probably 105, 110, probably.
Oh, she's a little more than that. She's not a stick.
No.
She's an athlete.
She is.
I'm 5'5" and I weigh.
If she had a little bit more of my mentality, she'd be really dangerous. Okay, I'm glad she doesn't.
Who's going to be dangerous? Which one?
Adley, my 4-year-old. Yeah. Avea, my 7-year-old is I don't know. She's not quite as tall as my oldest was at that point. She's like kind of a tank though. Like she's definitely a little more athletic. She has like a crazy mentality though. Like she's kind of all over the place. But Adley is straight. I've never seen Adley lose a fight in the house ever.
They fight?
Oh yeah.
You have Fight Club?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm a referee. Adley is Araya wins them all.
Yeah, of course.
Because she's the biggest.
Sure.
And she, I've seen Araya pin the other faces to the ground. Like I'll run in and I hear screaming and Araya's just got their faces pinned to the ground. But I've never seen Adley lose. She's tied a bunch where I've had to break them up. She cheats.
And
she's mean.
4.
She's 4. Yeah,
she's mean.
She'll fucking bite. She'll pull hair. I've seen her grab their hair, put it to her chest, and just start gator roll.
Oh wow.
She's mean. Wow. She's so mean.
Is she gonna do MMA?
And she'll start it too. She's not like defending herself most of the time. Usually
she's instigating. Because
the other two are so much taller and bigger than her. Like they'll take shit from her, or they'll have something that she wants and they'll hold it like above her head, and she'll just start biting and punching and kicking, and she's fucking mean. She's mean. She's the meanest for sure.
And she's the one you said is interested in wrestling.
She wants to wrestle. Yeah, she wants to wrestle. So
You better let her.
I would have a hard time seeing. It's so crazy how kids' personalities are so different.
Yeah.
Um,
You have how many fights? 60 some? I should have counted before we did this, but
50,
Pro.
54, 52, 54 pro, I think.
Okay.
And
you
I have
had-
like 25 amateur fights.
Okay. So don't make me do math, but that's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
70 some.
Yeah.
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 Is there two questions to wrap it up? Is there one thing that you wish you had done differently?
Jesus Christ, we could be here forever.
Well, listen, the fact is, like, and this is what's crazy. You are the number 4 ranked light heavyweight in the entire world. That's 7 point whatever billion people,
Mm-hmm.
and you're 4.
It's crazy, right?
And any given day, you could be 3, 2, or 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's freaking crazy.
That is crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you did that.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know if that happened.
So my question is, A, is there anything that you would change? And then B, like what would make you, I'm not saying you're close to retiring, but like what would make you at the end of all this, if you sit back and look at it, what would make you say, like, that's a good thing I did?
I wouldn't change any of the experiences I've had. Because I kind of feel like I've had a couple different careers. I kind of balled into one big
Yeah.
one. So, like my early regional scene days, although we did some stupid shit, god damn, but some of the places we've been, like, just experiences, like at the time I was like, this fucking sucks. But like looking back on it now, there's some of my
Best thing ever.
funnest times, like going to crazy casinos and just all the crazy shit. I could never ever tell all those stories because those are all kind of sealed and involved at some point. But because I can't incriminate, I can't incriminate other people either. Excuse me, but like those times were so much fun. Like the one thing I would change, I just wish that. I guess nothing I can change, but I wish I was in like a different market
Mm-hmm.
of the sport when I was coming up. Like
Not in the Midwest, you mean?
Okay.
Like out in California or
I wish I
Vegas?
had that kind of training.
Yeah.
That's what I wish.
Yeah.
Because I really loved coming up in the Midwest market. I think that just, I think it bred a toughness that
Mhm.
is kind of unmatched, and like you still don't even see it now because it's the Midwest market is caught up, and
Mhm.
the scene and the culture is closer now to like being on the West Coast. But at that time, we were so behind the times a little bit, and it wasn't as accepted. It wasn't as cool. Like we were doing it before it was cool,
Mhm.
and people in California and Vegas and Arizona and like they were doing it way bigger than we were, and it was more serious, and there was higher level training and training partners. So I do wish that I had that earlier.
Mhm.
I'm not necessarily sure if that's something I could change, but as far as the experiences, I don't think I would change anything.
Yeah.
I loved it. I wish I had one more, but you know that's part of the journey. I
For
think.
sure. You won a
And
lot, by the way.
Yeah, a couple
A
times.
lot.
I gotta feel.
A lot.
Some of those losses early though. I think that needed to happen for me, but fuck, it was hard. It's hard going through a lot of that shit. But and then when I retire, I think I used to need the title
Mhm.
to. I think it's all a transition. Like fighting used to consume me. It used to define who I was as a person when I was younger. And then as I started having children and got more mature and got older and started enjoying other things and finding a balance in life where it wasn't all about fighting. It used to be everything I did was geared towards or headed in that direction or worked around or connected to fighting.
Mhm.
Everything. It was every part of my personality. It was every part of like my existence. And I think it had to be like that at the time because I didn't have anything else going on. I was kind of a fuck up. So I think I had to attach myself to it. and attach who I was as a person to it. But then as I got older and matured and found other things that I like to do and really jumped into like the dad life, now it's very much something I do, but I don't think it defines who I am as a person anymore. There's a lot of other shit that I like to do that has nothing to do with fighting. So at one point in time, I would say that I would never be happy in retirement without the title. I think it would always bother me if I never had it, but I don't think that it would. I don't know. I don't think it'd crush me as a person. I think that I've accomplished way more than I was ever meant to. I don't think that I was ever meant to be this successful. I think I've way outkicked my coverage when it comes to the sport and what I was supposed to do. So I guess it's always been how I'm going to be remembered. I think that bothers me. I think more than anything. Like people can say that he wasn't the best striker, or maybe he wasn't the best wrestler, or he lost this fight, he lost that fight. As long as people always remembered that I fucking showed up and laid it all on the line and was willing to lose everything to win it all, I think that's all what it's about. Like guys like Jeremy Stevens, like I would rather be remembered like that than a guy like GSP.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, and maybe it's like that because I'm closer to a guy like Jeremy Stevens.
Because that's my option.
Because that's my option. But I think I look up to a guy more like Tony, like Tony Ferguson, or Jeremy. And just because Jeremy's been in the media, it's the guy that I think about. I think I'd rather be that, like Justin Gaethje. Like say Justin never wins the title, like the undisputed title. I would much rather be like Justin than like Khabib.
Yeah, it's not about being perfect.
No, it's about the walk, like through that journey.
Yeah.
Like, Justin Gaethje's a fucking legend to me.
Yeah.
Like I look up to Justin Gaethje. Khabib's super cool. I would love to have accomplished everything that he has, and hopefully someday I can touch a fraction of the titles and aspirations of things that he's done. But I'd much rather people be like, that dude's a fucking G.
Yeah.
And I think that's how, I think that's kind of how I want to be remembered.